Ladies and gentlemen, West Bengal's Sandeshkhali is making headlines ever since the ED team was attacked by Trinamool Congress goons. But what emerged today has shamed entire humanity. In a special investigation by Republic Bangla, women of Sandeshkhali narrated spine-chilling ordeal alleging systemic sexual exploitation by Trinamool Congress goons. Ladies and gentlemen, the heart of this entire story is about a man called Sheikh Shah Jahan, who's been reported by not only by the central agencies but also local authorities. But what has essentially happened is this. For over a period of time, not a single person would raise a voice against this man called Sheikh Shah Jahan. And if you remember, when the enforcement directorate had reached the doorsteps of Sheikh Shah Jahan, it was he who called a mob of 1,000 people. Thereafter, the enforcement directorate and the others came under attack of this very mob. But tonight, the focus is all about the misdeeds of Sheikh Shah Jahan, who's been reported multiple times. But today, what is essentially happening is that it appears that some sort of a protection has been given. Who exactly is giving protection to Sheikh Shah Jahan? Why exactly is he really running away from the central agencies? And if at all, the government essentially says that there is nothing against him, then why exactly is he hiding? Why is he underground? These are some basic questions that many are asking tonight. But there, ladies and gentlemen, once again, a major uprising that we are witnessing in the state of West Bengal. And the question that many would ask, what really happens to those, especially women activists who time and again have spoken about several such misdeeds in other parts of the country, but today are completely silent on what's really happening in the state of West Bengal. First, take a look at this detailed report, and then we take you through exclusive news break coming in with regards to the connection of Sheikh Shah Jahan to a drug cartel.
Sandeshkhali is making headlines once again. This time over alleged systemic sexual exploitation against women by TMC goons. Speaking exclusively to Republic Bangla, women of Sandeshkhali narrated their spine-chilling ordeal.
পার্টির লোকেরা আগে এসে দেখে যাবে যে কোন বাড়ির বউটা দেখতে সুন্দর, কে কম বয়সী, এইবার তার ঘুমকি চলে আসবে, তোমার বাড়ির বউ তুমি ছেড়ে দাও, তুমি স্বামী হতে পারো কিন্তু তোমার কোনো অধিকার নেই, মানে নিয়ে চলে যাবে রাতের পর রাত, একদিনের জন্য না, যতক্ষণ তাদের নাম মন পড়বে ততক্ষণ তোমার কিন্তু রেহাই নেই।
Soon after Republic's news break, Union Minister Smriti Irani has taken stock and condemned the lawless under CM Mamta.
These are the women of Sandeshkhali who are crying out for help, for protection. Mamata Bandyopadhyay is known for the genocide of Hindus. That she will now allow her men to pick out Hindu young married women to be raped night after night in the TMC office cannot be articulated in mere words.
The National Commission for Women has also taken cognizance of the incident and will send a team to probe the incident tomorrow. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Let's also now take you through an exclusive news break that's coming in, talking about this man called Sheikh Shah Jahan, who's been under the shadow of the central agencies in the Russian scam that is being probed. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we get you another angle that is being probed. That is Sheikh Shah Jahan's alleged drug cartel link. In fact, we've got more details that have been uncovered where Trinamool Congress conveners Sheikh Shah Jahan's drug connection has emerged. A drug consignment that was coming in from Jebel Ali to Kolkata was seized back in the year 2022. 72 packets weighing 40 kilograms of heroin was seized by the DRI. In fact, the consignment was in the name of Sariful Enterprises, and Sariful Enterprises received 2 lakh rupees from a group called Rintu Enterprise. ED probe has now revealed that the money that came in to Sabina Enterprises was actually linked to Sheikh Shah Jahan. Now, Sheikh Shah Jahan, who is not only being probed in the ration scam, now we are given to understand is under the scanner as far as this drug consignment that was seized by the DRI. The Enforcement Directorate has already carried out a probe back in 2021. They have also been able to establish the fact that there is a group, a company that has been linked to Sheikh Shah Jahan, who had made the payment for this particular consignment. Let me quickly go across to our senior editor from Republic Bangla newsroom, who's joining us on this broadcast, getting us more details. What is really emerging right now, Moyuk, is with regards to a major uprising in Sandeshkhali. Women are now out in public talking about what's really happening in Sandeshkhali, which wasn't spoken all this while everyone knew what was happening in Sandeshkhali. Tonight, we're also taking our viewers through some of the details that are coming in with regards to another aspect that hasn't been covered as yet. Republic here is exposing the drug connection link that has now emerged. It is out in the papers that have been probed by the Enforcement Directorate. Why don't you take our viewers through some of the details? How exactly does this become important just a day before this matter is going to be heard in the Calcutta High Court tomorrow?
Well, Shaman, as you said, that this time the drug cartel link, and you named one of the enterprises, that is the Sariful Enterprises, Purbakanda in Sandeshkhali. Let me quickly remind our viewers that this Sandeshkhali is the place where Shah Jahan used to run his terror land, his terror cartel, and this is the very place where ED officers, they went for a raid. ED officers went to summon Sheikh Shah Jahan and to question Sheikh Shah Jahan and to raid his house regarding the ration scam. Many of the villagers, many of the sources have time and again said that Shah Jahan not only was involved with the ration scam, but he was involved with all the illegal activities. In fact, we have people on here saying that Sheikh Shah Jahan used to distribute money, Sheikh Shah Jahan used to distribute arms, and he used to run an illegal hooch racket. Now, after this confession by villagers that he used to run an illegal hooch racket, Sheikh Shah Jahan's cartel coming in the limelight is one of the biggest agenda stories right now, because of the fact that this was a hush-hush matter in and across Sandeshkhali. But for the first time, very first time, Republic Bangla is Republic Network is doing this story, and they are specifically saying that this is one of the biggest revelation after the woman torture angle. Smriti Irani has done an entire press conference on the torture angle, because Sheikh Shah Jahan used to terrorize the villagers in Sandeshkhali village. Sandeshkhali is an island block in North 24 Parganas. The Indo-Bangladesh border is near to this place, but the fact that it is one of the biggest drug cartel stories right now. We have some information like in 2022, September, DRI searched and examined a container at one of the CFS in Kolkata. It's in Khidirpur and Holdia, and from there, this entire consignment was seized, and time and again, this Sariful, the name of Sariful has been under radar along with Rintu Enterprise. Sheikh Shah Jahan used to run many shell companies, and most importantly, Sheikh Shah Jahan was the one who was in charge. That is what we are getting in from sources. Time and again, we have confirmed from our sources that Sheikh Shah Jahan was the one who used to siphon money of top influential leaders, including the leaders who are in jail, the Trinamool leaders. So now, whether it's a question that whether drug money was used in ration scam, and ration scam, drug money, both were used in the recruitment scam, and the whole thing has a connection with TMC leaders or not. That is one of the biggest questions right now. Shawan.
One quick question that I would like to take from you, Mayuk, is with regards to the major uprising that we are witnessing in Sandeshkhali right now. What is it that the government really has to say? Because all this while we were hearing that all accused in this particular case have been arrested. But the fact of the matter is that Sheikh Shah Jahan is underground, hasn't really responded to the summons that have been sent by the central agencies too. A quick recap for all our viewers who are tuning in right now, just to understand how important it is for Sheikh Shah Jahan to be interrogated by the central agencies right now.
Well, Shravan, today also Sheikh Shah Jahan's lawyer, they pleaded for an immunity of Sheikh Shah Jahan, and they pleaded for not taking any coercive action. They said that Shah Jahan can appear before the court, Shah Jahan can appear before the Enforcement Directorate authorities if there's a order that no coercive action will be taken against Sheikh Shah Jahan. Sheikh Shah Jahan will get an immunity from arrest. But the point is that Enforcement Directorate is still trying to get in touch with Sheikh Shah Jahan. There are 3 summons that have been already issued. He has dodged all the 3 summons. Most importantly, there's an FIR of assaulting the Enforcement Directorate authorities, the Central Force, and most importantly, the riot-like situation that happened in Sandeshkhali when the Enforcement Directorate officers went there. So Shah Jahan is still a fugitive, and this fugitive has several allegations against this fugitive and his allies, his aides. So basically, Shah Jahan not only is involved in financial crime, but along with that, he is involved in serious crimes which are punishable under Indian Penal Code, and some of the sections are actually non-bailable sections. So it's the onus of Sheikh Shah Jahan's arrest also lies with the state administration, Mamata Banerjee's administration, because every time Mamata Banerjee or the Home Minister of Bengal, Ms. Mamata Banerjee, cannot blame ED, CBI for all the things that is happening here because of the fact that the state police, the state administration is doing nothing, maybe to catch Sheikh Shah Jahan and book him with relevant sections after the confession of villagers and especially women in Sandeshkhali.
Well, thank you very much, Moik, for getting us the latest details. In fact, we'll be watching this very closely. This matter also comes up before the Calcutta High Court tomorrow. We'll be tracking this very closely. Shifting focus now to a story that almost more than a year ago, ladies and gentlemen, Republic TV had highlighted the plight of our veterans back in Qatar. Some good news have now come in after the Indian government's relentless diplomatic efforts have borne fruit as Qatar has freed 8 ex-Navy veterans jailed in the espionage charges back in the year 2022. 7 of them are back in India after 18 months of jail in Qatar. A lot of questions essentially were also being asked as to why exactly they were detained, and for the family members, it was one of the most difficult moments that they've ever witnessed in their lives. We had spoken to the family members of the Navy veterans in the last few months to highlight their plight. The government all this while has been maintaining that they've been doing all that is required to bring back our Navy veterans. And in fact, late last night, even the family members were not aware that they were finally freed. And once they boarded the flight, that's when the family members got to know. Take a look at this report.
18 months of diplomatic efforts, months of legal battle with Qatar, and relentless coverage by Republic TV. 7 of the 8 Navy veterans are back home.
We have waited almost 18 months to be back in India. We're extremely grateful to the Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji. It certainly wouldn't have been possible without his personal intervention and that equation with the Emir of Qatar.
Falsely arrested in espionage case in 2022 and sentenced to death in 2023. Republic led the coverage from the front to bring back our heroes.
Till now, we are the government is we know that the government is doing a lot to repatriate, but still it should be acting more fastly so that all these 8 officers, they are Navy veterans, and they should be immediately repatriated to India.
Navy veterans को जिस प्रकार से वापस लाया गया, वो भारत सरकार के विशेष प्रयासों का एक नतीजा है। घर वापसी और राष्ट्र के साथ साथ विश्व भर में हिंदुस्तानी कहीं भी रहे, उनके हितों का संरक्षण करना, ये नरेंद्र भाई की प्राथमिकता रही है। और कतर से जो लौटे हैं भारत, उन नेवी वेटरन्स का हम सब कृतज्ञता की भावना से स्वागत करते हैं।
From mobilizing all diplomatic channels, PM meeting the Emir of Qatar on the sidelines of the COP28 summit in Dubai, to getting consular access to the 8 Indian Navy personnel and keeping the kin of veterans informed, Modi diplomacy has paid off in a big way. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, just ahead of that big event that's going to take place in UAE, Republic TV has now spoken to the Indian envoy to UAE, Sanjay Sudhir. Listen into that exclusive conversation that senior editor Sucharita had a short while back.
Sir, we are cultural partners, we are trade partners. You think the world is looking at the India-UAE ties, how they've transformed in the last few years?
See, whenever there's something spectacular, people watch it. Countries also watch. Right. So when India signs CEPA within 3 months, most countries cannot imagine how this can be done, but it has been done. The kind of things which we have done in other areas is also something which for people to watch. I mean, we work together in UN Security Council. We have come together on the I2U2 platform. We were again together in G20, where we invited the UAE as a special invitee. One of the outcomes of G20 Leaders Summit was the IMEC, announcement on IMEC, where India and UAE are the first 2 countries in that mega, I would say, intercontinental infrastructure project.
So one last question. They say there are few steps in personal chemistry make us take giant strides in diplomatic efforts. Do you think you see that between the 2 leaders today, UAE and India?
I think if you look at the transformation in our relationship, that's a proof of that. Yes. Because once there is personal trust, you're already, crossing so many barriers. You don't have to think about so many things, in the sense that things just happen when friends, when brothers talk to each other. Decision making is always very quick. It is the same between our leaders, and as a result between our countries.
So looking forward to a grand event, a grand Alan Modi and the inauguration of the temple, and you've been at the helm of all the entire arrangements. So all the best to you, and we look forward to it.
And I'm supported by a very able team of mine here at the embassy, and also full support from our ministry in Delhi, as well as the authorities here.
Ladies and gentlemen, shifting focus now to a story that has been developing over the last 24 to 48 hours. This is coming in from Uttarakhand's Halwani, which witnessed large-scale violence just about a few days ago. At least 4 were reported dead. Policemen were injured and public property was torched. Republic's investigating team on the ground has been reporting on this matter, and in an exclusive, our team also spoke to the eyewitnesses, which only goes on to indicate whether at all this was completely pre-planned or not. An indication that has already come in from the district magistrate, but now listen in to these bone-chilling first-hand testimonies.
सर, मेरे ऊपर पत्थर ही पड़ा है, तभी मेरे चोट लगी है, 60 टाँके आए हैं। ये तो हेलमेट पहन रखा था, तब आए हैं 60 टाँके। हम मशीन लेके गए थे यहाँ से, हम मशीन लेके पहुँचे थे यहाँ से 4:30 बजे विभाग पहुँच गए थे नगर निगम से 4:40 पे हम वहाँ पहुँच गए थे जहाँ हमें जाना था। उससे पहले ही उन्होंने बैरियर लगा रखे थे। जब बैरियर लगा रखे थे तो हमने मशीन अपनी वहाँ बंद कर दी। बंद करी, उन्होंने उल्टे सीधे अश्लील बातें बोलनी चालू कर दी, गाली देनी चालू कर दी। हमने डर के लिए मशीन अपनी पीछे ले ली थोड़ी। मैंने कहा कोई पता नहीं है इनका, क्या कर दें। हमें बहुत ही डर लग गया था उसी टाइम, जिस टाइम उन्होंने
ये बात आपने क्या जो नगर निगम के वहाँ पे अधिकारी थे उनसे बताई आपने? वो
सर, नगर निगम के सब पीछे से थे ना, आगे हमारी मशीन थी, पहले हमारी मशीन थी, उसके पीछे से नगर निगम वाले थे।
तो आपने जब वहाँ पर जो स्ट्रक्चर था उसको जब ढाने की कोशिश की, जब काम आपने शुरू किया, उसके बाद पत्थरबाजी शुरू हुई, या आपके पहुँचने के बाद जब उन्होंने जैसे भी देखा, देखते के साथ डर से पत्थरबाजी शुरू की?
सर, जैसे यहाँ से हम गए थे तब वहाँ हमने पहुँचने के बाद उन्होंने हमारी मशीन पर उत्पीड़न चालू कर दिया। हमारी मशीन पहले ही, जहाँ हमें पहुँचना था उससे पहले ही उत्पीड़न चालू कर दिया। इतने में ही पुलिस आ गई पीछे से, पुलिस ने उन सबको हटा दिया। हटाने के बाद हम वहाँ पहुँच गए जहाँ हमें जाना था। जाने के बाद पहला ही बूम रखा था हमने, बकेट जिसे बोलते हैं, पहले ही बकेट रखा था। बकेट रखते ही उन्होंने पथराव चालू कर दिया हमारे ऊपर। पथराव चालू किया, हम मशीन छोड़ के आ गए अपनी, हम नहीं चलाएंगे मशीन, हमने ऐसा बोल दिया। एसडीएम सर ने हमारे चारों तरफ पुलिस लगा दी, बोले तुम्हें कुछ नहीं होगा, उसकी जिम्मेदारी मेरी है। हम चारों तरफ हमारे पुलिस लगी थी, पथराव बंद हो गया था, एसडीएम सर ने जो कहा वो कर दिया। उसके बाद हमने तोड़ा, जो अतिक्रमण था उसे तोड़ दिया हमने। तोड़ने के बाद
वो कितना % टूटा है? अभी तक कुछ लोग बता रहे हैं कि वो जो है 60% टूटा है, कुछ लोग बता रहे हैं कि वो 30% टूट पाया, कुछ लोग बता रहे हैं पूरा टूट पाया, क्योंकि आप वहाँ पे आई विटनेस है, आपने सब कुछ देखा वहाँ पर ग्राउंड पे। कितना पार्ट टूटा है?
पार्ट टूटा है, जर्जर कर दिया हमने सारा, एक तरफ का तोड़ दिया है, 2 कमरे बचे हैं, 2 कमरों को जर्जर कर दिया है, लेंटर सारा गिरा दिया है, और लेंटर के बाद एक साइड की दीवारें रह गई हैं, जो बाहर गली की साइड की दीवारें हैं वो दीवारें रह गई थी।
तकरीबन 80% के आसपास का जो एरिया है वो
80% आसपास गिर गया है, जर्जर सारा कर दिया है। कोई भी अगर उसके अंदर जाता है तो कोई पता नहीं किस समय गिर जाएगा।
मुझे ये बताइए कि वहाँ पे किस तरफ से जो पत्थरबाजी की गई वो किस तरफ से की गई? दोनों तरफ से की गई। हम गए हैं वहाँ पे, वो जो सड़क है और जो थाना है, थाना के इस साइड भी घर है और दाएं तरफ और बाएं तरफ दोनों तरफ घर है ना
सर? चारों तरफ से पत्थरबाजी की गई थी, लेडी से बच्चे बुरखे वाली सब पत्थरबाजी कर रहे थे वहाँ। 8-8 साल के बच्चे थे जो पत्थरबाजी कर रहे थे वहाँ पे।
अच्छा, मुझे ये बताइए कि आप भी उस जेसीबी के साथ थे, एक जेसीबी आप भी चला रहे थे वहाँ पे। टोटल 4 जेसीबी जो है वो डिप्लॉय की गई थी, जिसमें से एक जेसीबी बाहर निकल कर आ गई, एक जेसीबी का पार्ट आप भी थे।
हाँ जी सर।
क्या हुआ वहाँ?
सर जैसे हमने पहला बकेट ही रखा था तो पथराव तो हमारे ऊपर चालू हो ही गया था, लेकिन पुलिस विभाग का इतना शुक्र है कि उन्होंने हमारी सेफ्टी के लिए पूरी तरफ से पुलिस लगा दी। हमने तोड़ भी दिया सर। तोड़ने के बाद जब हम वापस आ रहे थे उसके बाद फिर पथराव हुआ हमारे पे। जब हमारी मशीनें पीछे रह गई, पीछे से एकदम से भीड़ इतनी इकट्ठी होके आई कि हमें मशीनें वहीं छोड़नी पड़ गई और अपनी जान बचाकर भागना पड़ा।
तो आप कैसे आए भागकर वहाँ से? क्या पुलिस के साथ आए, किसके साथ आए? अकेले भागकर आए?
नहीं सर, मैं पुलिस के साथ आया।
अच्छा, मुझे ये बताइए कि वो जो भीड़ थी वहाँ पे, वो आगजनी किस वक्त स्टार्ट हुई?
सर आगजनी तो जब मैं मशीन से उतरा हूँ उसके 5 मिनट बाद ये भैया बता रहे थे कि 5 या 2 मिनट बाद ये वहाँ खड़े थे, तो उन्होंने मेरी वाली जो मशीन थी उसमें आग शुरू में ही लगा दी थी। जैसे मैं उतरा हूँ उसके तुरंत बाद मेरी मशीन में आग लग गई थी। तुरंत बाद मेरी मशीन में आग लग गई।
Well, that's all that we could pack in this edition of This is Exclusive. On the other side, news and updates continue. In yet another jolt for Congress party as Ashok Chavan dumps the party, sources say likely to join BJP next.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
How many of you had those goosebump moments when we had our Chandrayaan landing on the moon? And you know, she is someone who was integral or has been integral to not just Chandrayaan, in fact, ma'am, right? Many other of our projects which ISRO has spearheaded over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'm handling all the interplanetary missions and the low Earth orbit missions, and I'm also the project director for the Aditya L1 mission, which sets up the first country's solar observatory.
So let's begin with that only, because I remember when the Aditya L1 was launched, you said it's a dream come true. Yeah. So why did you say that it's a dream come true?
In space missions, especially science missions, are very challenging because the instruments what we need to build, it's quite challenging. And it took for me 8 years back when I was handed over the project director post. It was really challenging. I was always looking for the day that a spacecraft will be completed and it will be launched. That's why I said it's a dream come true.
So the journey of conceptualizing Aditya and then seeing it go there.
Because it's a collaborative effort, not only with ISRO, other science institutes also, we had instruments from them. So working with them and making them build the instrument and deliver to us, that's a lot of people management is very, very important in those aspects. So it was, that's why I said dream come true.
Right, okay, so the success part of it. So let's keep the science for later. Let's go back to the beginning and what really inspired you to pick up science and when you started, like class 11, class 12, did you think in terms of being part of ISRO, being part of Chandrayaan, or was it one step at a time? You were interested in maths. How your interest in science and maths began essentially?
It's all because of my father. He's a graduate in mathematics in those days of 30s, 40s. And he's a voracious reader too. So he developed the interest of science in us, in all his children. So, and I felt naturally I had, what is that? I like to do the science, especially maths and physics. Because later, during my school days, I remember why I was so happy to do maths and physics is because we don't need to study a lot. If you understand the logics behind it, it will be always easy.
How many of you agree with that? Is it easy? Like she's saying it's so easy? Okay, carry on.
Yeah. Because what I felt is in biology and chemistry and all, if you see, a lot of things you have to remember, you need to study a lot. Even in medicine, if you take, you need to study a lot. But here in the maths and physics, I always felt that if you understand the logics behind it and how the fundamentals behind it, it's easy to build over it and you need not study a lot. That's what my feeling I had in my school days, and I developed interest in maths and physics, and it's that goes to my father who inculcated in me the interest, and also he used to tell a lot of stories about the Nobel laureates and things like that, especially about Marie Curie. He used to tell me a lot that how when she was pregnant also she was so much the thorium she was to generate the radium in it, and a lot of stories he used to tell that inspired me, and I took it that way.
Yes, it's a very slippery slope that we're on, that from looking into our mirrors to say how are we looking today, into your image deciding how you feel today. That's something which is a very slippery slope. And as we were talking about this, I actually fast forwarded to my life like 20 years. I'm almost 40 now. And I rewinded 20 years ago when I was a participant in the Miss India pageant. I was a participant in the Miss India pageant, and I was from a very good college. I had gotten a very good scholarship to study in a college abroad, and I came to do this beauty pageant on a whim. And I walked out of this pageant because I couldn't even at that age, the thought of being judged for the way that I looked was something I couldn't handle. I just couldn't, that wasn't something that sat right. And I actually ended up writing a book about that pageant, which became really a bestseller and kickstarted my career as a writer, and which then further went on to a deeper consciousness about wellness and teaching yoga, and that becoming something that I wanted to give to this world. But it's also the passage of time. For me at that age, thinking that this was the way that I looked would define me, into that journey that this had nothing to do with who I was. And then as you age, you realize even more how fleeting the way that you look is, and how it really doesn't matter. But what's more important is the state of your own mind. And that's what my yoga journey led me to, that it's not the state of my face, it's not the state of my career. Ultimately, what's making me happy is the state of my mind. And if the state of your mind is correct, then no matter what happens to you in life, your life will always remain balanced. Like no matter jo bhi aapke
Mega women's uprising in Sandeshkhali. TMC leaders face allegations of sexual exploitation and land grabbing. In an exclusive conversation with Arnab Goswami, Union Minister Smriti Irani takes on Mamata government in a scathing attack. Smriti Irani hits out at TMC. Government says she must step down if she can't maintain law and order. Yet another big jolt for Congress as Ashok Chavan dumps party. Sources say likely to join BJP next. "24 hours ahead of Delhi Chalo protest by farmers, Section 144 imposed in national capital. 7 Navy veterans who were undergoing trial in Qatar return home. Prime Minister set to meet Emir of Qatar. Good evening, you're watching Live and Breaking. I'm Suesha Samant, and first up in this edition, we get you the latest from West Bengal Sandeshkhali, where the women have spoken up. They are alleging systematic sexual exploitation by local TMC leaders, and this comes days after Sandeshkhali witnessed a mega people's uprising over alleged land grabbing by TMC leaders. In this latest development, NCW has now taken cognizance of what has happened in Sandeshkhali. Let's listen to their first-hand stories from the victims themselves.
নিয়ে চলে যাবে রাতের পর রাত একদিনের জন্য না যতক্ষণ তাদের না মন ভরবে ততক্ষণ তোমার কিন্তু রেহাই নেই পার্টির লোকেরা আগে এসে দেখে যাবে যে কোন বাড়ির বউটা দেখতে সুন্দর কে কম বয়সী এইবার তার ঘুমকি চলে আসবে তোমার বাড়ির বউ তুমি ছেড়ে দাও তুমি স্বামী হতে পারো কিন্তু তোমার কোনো অধিকার নেই মানে নিয়ে চলে যাবে রাতের পর রাত একদিনের জন্য না যতক্ষণ তাদের না মন ভরবে ততক্ষণ তোমার কিন্তু রেহাই নেই
হ্যাঁ আমারও একই অভিজ্ঞতা রাত বিকালে আসতো জোর জবরদস্তি করতো মহিলাদের তুলে নিয়ে যেত নিয়ে গিয়ে ওই রাখতো পার্টি অফিসে তারপরে ভোরের বেলায় ছেড়ে দিত
Meanwhile, the BJP has upped the ante against the Mamta government, from Union Minister Smriti Irani's scathing attack on Mamta government to BJP delegation hitting the streets of Kolkata staging a protest. This comes after 6 BJP MLAs, including leader of opposition Suvendu Adhikari, who were suspended from Bengal Assembly for speaking up against the Sandeshkhali horror. Listen in.
We are Bharatiya, Hindustani, but Mamta thinking it's a separate country.
It's a separate country?
Yes. She is totally anti-national.
Mamta's anti-national?
Yes. She is welcoming Rohingyas in West Bengal. For that reason, she is not providing adequate land to the BSF for barbar fencing completion in border area.
Our Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee and our Police Minister Mamta Banerjee is afraid of the BJP opposition. And she is so much afraid that she has stopped our bus, which is we have been stopped in Calcutta. This is not Sandeshkhali. Sandeshkhali is 60 kilometers away. There is no section 144 over here.
But ma'am, what's the reason behind this fierce psychosis of Bengal government?
If we go there, you know, many secrets will be unearthed and people will come to know.
What kind of secrets?
Secrets like the secret that we have come to know that Hindu women and, little children have been taken from, beautiful looking women have been taken by Sheikh Shah Jahan, the criminal who is absconding right now. His bike, Bahini, used to come in motorcycles and pick up women. And these women, Hindu women, used to taken to the TMC office. They were kept over there for 2 days, 3 days, raped, molested, and God knows what happened.
Ma'am, one thing, there are so many allegations against this Sheikh Shah Jahan, who is a Trinamool leader, obviously, and also his close aides. But the police didn't have the courage to arrest Sheikh Shah Jahan after Sheikh Shah Jahan instructed his workers to attack on ED officials.
Sheikh Shah Jahan is a criminal who is being given support and shelter by Mamta Banerjee. That is the reason when Sheikh Shah Jahan's aides, attack the ED officials, they are not arrested. But when, we BJP MLAs, we want to go and visit our mothers and sisters in Sandeshkhali, we are being stopped.
Meanwhile, Bengal governor has also taken stock of the law and order situation in Sandeshkhali area. Bengal Governor CV Ananda Bose is en route. In fact, he was earlier this afternoon. And TMC tried to block his visit by staging a counter-protest on that route, holding a black flag protest. But he managed to speak to the victims on the ground. Listen in to what he said.
All the sisters here are my Rakhi sisters. This deep is a Rakhi deep for me. I will do whatever is required to protect their honor and dignity. All the sisters here are my Rakhi sisters. This deep is a Rakhi deep for me. I will do whatever is required to protect their honor and dignity.
And the SC/ST Commission has also taken stock of what has happened in Sandeshkhali. They've written a letter to the Chief Secretary. Listen in to this exclusive conversation with the chairperson of the Commission, Arun Haldar.
देखिए, जिस दिन ये घटना मेरे समक्ष में आया है, टीवी में मैंने देख रहा था, जो 2019 में शुरुआत किया ये शाहजहान मोल्ला गुंडाराज कायम किया था, तब मैं बंगाल प्रदेश में अनुसूचित जाति मोर्चा का प्रदेश अध्यक्ष था। अच्छा। मेरे टीम का ये मंडल अध्यक्ष था मिस्टर प्रदीप मंडल, वो उनके अगेंस्ट में बहुत सारे एजिटेशन किया है यार। वो बहुत मेरा टीम का बहुत ही अच्छा कार्यकर्ता था। जब उनके अगेंस्ट में प्रतिवाद किया है, आंदोलन किया है, उसको मर्डर करने का निर्णय लिया। उनका साथ में और 2 लोगों को भी मर्डर कर दिया था। वो मेरा अनुसूचित मोर्चा का टीम का लोग था, प्रदीप मंडल नाम था, छोटा बच्चा था। तब हमारे एक कमीशन का चेयरमैन था ऑनरेबल कठीरे जी, उनसे बात करके पूरा कमीशन का उधर स्पॉट विजिट में गया। मैंने भी था उस टीम में। उस टाइम में वो एरिया में जाने का बाद जो देखा उन्होंने, जो कायम किया है, किसी को बात करने की हिम्मत तक नहीं था। और इस पे पूरा प्रमोट कर रहे थे उस टाइम से तृणमूल कांग्रेस ने उसी एरिया में, एक्चुअली बीजेपी का उधर में बहुत अच्छा संगठन था, उसको तोड़ने के लिए जानबूझ के ये शाहजहान मोल्ला को उन लोगों को लगा दिया था और उस पर कामयाब भी हो गया। लास्ट 3-4 साल से मेरे पास उधर से बहुत सारे रिपोर्ट आ रहा है कि कोई लोग मेरे को कंप्लेन देने की हिम्मत भी नहीं दिखा रहे, इतना डरा धमका के रखा है। उस परिवार को मेरा कमीशन की तरफ से जब मेरे को ऊपर चेयरमैन इंचार्ज का दायित्व मिला है, मैंने खुद उस जगह में फिर स्पॉट विजिट किया है। उस परिवार के पास मैंने खड़ा हुआ है, उसको फिर वही केस को मैं दोबारा रीओपन किया है। रीओपन करने के बंगाल का चीफ सेक्रेटरी डीजीपी के साथ मीटिंग किया है। उसके बाद मैंने आश्चर्य हो गया, तो वही शाहजहान मोल्ला को किस तरह के, जिसका नाम एफआईआर में नंबर 1 में था शाहजहान मोल्ला को, उसको एफआईआर से उनको बरा कर दिया। तो मैंने पूछा कैसे जो मेन कंप्लेन है उसका आप लोग छोड़ दिया है, तो उनका कोई जवाब नहीं दे पाया। मैंने तो जानता है क्योंकि वो चाहता है इनका थ्रू से ही सारे राज उधर में कायम करे। सिर्फ एक ही लालच है उनका, सत्ता के लिए। उधर में 80% SC/ST लोग है, उसी का उधर जिसको संविधान में प्रावधान है, SC/ST लोग जहाँ रहता है, इन लोगों को अलग से स्पेशल उनको प्रोटेक्शन देने का कानून में है। आर्टिकल 338 में संविधान का अंदर इसका एक कानून है, लेकिन उदाहरण में टीएमसी गवर्नमेंट किसी कानून को वो लोग नहीं मानता है। खुद कर एक एरिया में, एक एरिया के एक इस टाइप का तालिबानी राज कायम करने के लिए एरिया वाइज, सेक्टर वाइज एक लोगों को खड़ा किया है बंगाल में। बहुत सोचने की आवश्यकता है। ये शाहजहान मोल्ला सिर्फ वो लोगों को डरा धमकाने का काम नहीं किया, मर्डर तो करने का उनका हैबिट है, लेकिन लास्ट में अभी जो हुआ है, अपना खुद का दल का भी अनुसूचित जाति वर्गों का लोग ही है ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा, उसको टारगेट बना के महिलाओं के ऊपर जो अत्याचार कर रहे हैं, ये तालिबान राज को भी उनको फेल कर दिया। तालिबान जाने का जरूरत नहीं है। आप लोग अगर चाहे तो एयरपोर्ट से मात्र 2-2.5 घंटा का रास्ता है कलकत्ता से, उधर जाके एक लोगों को पूछिए जो क्या चल रहा है बंगाल में, क्या राज बना के रहेगा। वही शाहजहान मोल्ला कुछ दिन पहले ईडी के ऊपर भी हमला किया है। अभी वो लोग फरार होके इधर उधर घूम रहे हैं। पूरे शेल्टर भी अभी भी उधर का पुलिस प्रशासन लोकल क्रिमिनल को लेके वो भी उधर ही है, कहीं भी नहीं गया है। जो बोल रहे हैं भाग गया, लेकिन इस तरह का जगह उन्होंने बना के रखा है।
Time now for a short commercial break. On the other side, 24 hours ahead of the Delhi Chalo protest by farmers, Section 144 has been imposed in the national capital.
I grew up in 60s and I was a teenager in 80s. I got married in 80s. तो जब मेरी शादी हुई है उस समय एक बहुत तयशुदा राय होती थी शादीशुदा औरतों की। बिल्कुल, मेरी शादी को हो गए 35-36 साल। सो यू नो आई एम टॉकिंग ऑफ एन एरा। और उस दौर में अब शादी हो गई तो माता पिता ये मानते ही थे कि अब सेटल हो गई लड़की। सेटल का मतलब समझ गए ना। अब हाथ धो लिए, छुट्टी हो गई। हाथ धो लिए मतलब इन पॉजिटिव वे, प्रसन्न है भाई, हम संतुष्ट हैं, हमने अपना कर्तव्य कर दिया। अब ये लड़की का अब अपना जीवन वही होगा जो पति चाहेगा, जैसा वो चाहेगा, जैसा वो जीवन जी रहा वही जीवन। अपनी एस्पिरेशंस, अपनी कामनाएं, अपनी इच्छाएं, उनके लिए कोई आकाश होगा या उसकी उड़ान वो औरत अब कैसे भरेगी? वो तय करना, वो सोचना उस विवाहित औरत की खुद की जिम्मेदारी थी, मेरी भी थी। और मैं सुचरिता शुरू से गाती थी, और जब मेरी शादी हुई है तो मेरे पतिदेव को ये मालूम था कि मैं एक प्रोफेशनल आर्टिस्ट हूँ। आई वॉज डूइंग स्टेज, सो ही न्यू, इनफैक्ट वो मेरा स्टेज शो देखने के लिए आए थे 2, जब हमारी शादी, हमारी कोर्टशिप 2 साल रही, एंड इट वॉज एन अरेंज मैरिज, नॉट अ लव मैरिज। तो लेकिन 2 साल की कोर्टशिप तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि जो मैं कहती हूँ ना, 15 बरस की मैं गवने पे आई, सैया उड़ावे कनकैया, तो वो समझ लीजिए वही दौर है कि आप बचपने से ही मुझे कई बार लगता है कि हम दोनों साथ ग्रो किए, लेकिन शादी होने के बाद आप फिर वापस उसी तरह की एक ज़मीन पा सकेंगे। माँ नहीं अब इस समय जो आपका हाथ पकड़ करके आपके साथ चले, और अब आप माँ बन चुकी हैं, आपके बच्चे हैं, आपकी जिम्मेदारी उनके प्रति है। वो सारी चीज़ें कहीं ना कहीं मुझे लगता है सबसे पहले, वो सिस्टरहुड वगैरह तो बाद की बात है, औरत की खुद को अपनी निगाहों में अपनी इतनी कदर होती है कि आई विल बी द बेस्ट वाइफ, आई विल बी द बेस्ट मॉम, कि वो पैरों पे बेड़ियाँ डाल देती है। ऐसा मुझे लगता है कि मेरे संग तो यही हुआ कि मुझे लगा कि मेरी अब जवाबदेही, जिम्मेदारी पहले उन भूमिकाओं के प्रति है जो प्रभु ने बड़ी कृपा से मेरे जीवन में उतारी है। सो आई हैव टू डील दैट फर्स्ट, रेस्ट एवरीथिंग विल देखी जाएगी तब की। और उसके लिए मैं एक बात बता दूं, कभी भी कोई तश्तरी पे रख के मौके नहीं लेके आता, हमेशा मौके आपको खुद ढूंढने पड़ते हैं, छीनने पड़ते हैं, मांगने पड़ते हैं। मैंने मांगा, मुझे याद है जब मेरे विवाह को, ये शायद बहुत सारे लोग रिलेट करेंगे, मेरी शादी को करीब 4-5 साल हो गए, दोनों बच्चे हो गए। मेरी सिस्टर एक दिन आई मिलने मुझसे, और मेरी मदर इन लॉ भी थी उस समय साथ में। तो मेरी बहन ने मेरे को देखा कि मैंने हंसना मुस्कुराना भी बंद कर दिया था। जो एक स्ट्रेस होता है, दोनों बच्चे एक साथ बड़े हो रहे हैं, उसका मतलब उसको भी जो भी अनुभव हुआ, बहनें ज़्यादा समझ जाती हैं। और उसने कहा कि आज चलो तुम मुझे कुछ सुनाओ, तानपुरा उठाओ, कुछ सुनाओ। तो मुझे ऐसा लगा कि बड़ी बहन है, उसको तो मैं मना कर ही नहीं सकती। अंदर इतनी खुशी भी हुई, लेकिन हिम्मत नहीं थी कि गा पाऊंगी कि नहीं। और मैंने तानपुरा उठाया, और जैसे ही मैंने स्वर लगाया तो मैं फूट फूट के रोने लगी। अब मुझे लगता है शायद डिप्रेशन रहा होगा, शायद इतने सालों का जो पूरा रुका हुआ था वो पूरा यहाँ से नहीं, यहाँ से बह निकला। और मेरी बहन ने जाकर सीधे मेरे मदर फादर को बताया कि ये तो वो है ही नहीं जो हुआ करती थी, और वो तो रोने लगी बजाय गाने के। आज इन चीज़ों को आप नए नए टर्म, मेंटल हेल्थ और क्या क्या बोलते हैं। हमारे यहाँ तो आधे से अधिक औरतें मुझे लगता है कि बिना जाने इसी से डील करती हुई जीती भी हैं।
Russia is fully supportive of India's right to become a permanent UN Security Council member. This topic was also discussed in depth between the foreign ministers in December. India's permanent membership in the
Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Kwatra has announced that Prime Minister Modi will be visiting Qatar on the 14th of February, where he will hold bilateral talks with Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad, the Amir of Qatar, and other senior dignitaries. This will be Prime Minister Modi's second visit to Qatar, as the bilateral trade relationship currently stands at $20 billion. Time now for a short commercial break. On the other side, mega women's uprising in Sandeshkhali. TMC leaders face allegations of sexual exploitation and land grabbing.
I am very, very happy to announce that Neva Bupa Health Insurance has come on board as Republic TV's studio partner. Neva Bupa Health Insurance is the fastest growing company among standalone health insurance players in India. It has also provided health insurance coverage to 1.1 crore people in India and settled over 15 lakh claims, processing one claim every 60 seconds. So we are delighted to be partnering with them.
हमारे माता पिता ने सीधे जाकर के आकाशवाणी में बात की, दूरदर्शन में, कि भाई आप लोगों ने उसके प्रोग्राम्स वगैरह बोले, नहीं उसकी तो शादी हो गई, वो भी IAS ऑफिसर से। मुझे लगा कि हमें लगा वो क्या करेंगी गा करके, अब उन्हें प्रोग्राम्स की क्या ज़रूरत। ये जो दो लाइनें हैं, उन्हें क्या ज़रूरत, वो क्या करेंगी गा करके। जैसे कि हम किसी के लिए गा रहे थे, जैसे कि हम किसी और के लिए जी रहे थे। ये जो एक्सपेक्टेशंस हैं, एंड माई फादर सेड नो, व्हेनेवर यू प्लान अ कॉन्सर्ट इनवाइट हर। तो मैं गई और 5-6 साल बाद मैंने उनको मिल करके आई, स्टेशन डायरेक्टर को, एंड आई सेड कि दूरदर्शन की कॉन्सर्ट थी, कि आई विल बी वेरी हैप्पी टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ इट। तो मैंने मांगा, और मांग करके फिर मैंने जब गाया, गाने के बाद फिर से अच्छा लोगों को लगा कि अच्छा नहीं अब ये गाएंगी, ऐसा नहीं है कि ये टिपिकल हाउसवाइफ हो करके नहीं गाएंगी, लेकिन ऐसे ऑफ एंड ऑन होते थे। आम तौर पे एक राय बन चुकी थी कि इनकी शादी हो गई है, वो भी IAS ऑफिसर है, जो कि उत्तर प्रदेश में बहुत बड़ा अफसर, उस ज़माने में तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा 90s में माना जाता था। तो अब ये बहुत अनअप्रोचेबल है, इनसे अब बात भी कैसे करें, इन तक पहुँचे, मोबाइल का दौर भी नहीं था। तो आधे लोग डरते भी थे हस्बैंड से, कैसे जाकर बोले कि आपकी वाइफ को गाने के लिए बुलाना है। सो इट वॉज ऑल मल्टीपल फैक्टर्स। तो मुझे ये समझ में आया कि ये यात्रा मुझे खुद ही तय करनी है। तो मैं खुद, याद है मुझे सांस्कृतिक केंद्र खुद चल के गई और मैंने बताया दिस इज़ माय बायोडाटा और मुझे गाना है, आप क्या प्रोग्राम हो। तो मुझे पहला प्रोग्राम प्रतापगढ़ में मिला, मुझे याद है। तो एक तो मुझे लगता है आजकल जैसे लोगों को लगता है कि सिफारिश हो या कहीं किसी से मांगने हम स्वाभिमान में कैसे जाएं। मुझे लगता है कि कोई आपके लिए रास्ता बनाता नहीं, रास्ता तो आपको खुद ही झाड़ झंकाड़ काट कूट करके सारी औरतों को खुद बनाना पड़ता है। कभी भी कोई, मैं नहीं मानती कि बहुत खूबसूरत ये डिनाइल में जी रही हैं जो भी औरतें यदि कहती हैं, क्योंकि और एक बात, उसका एक पहलू और भी है सुचरिता, ये एक बड़ी अजीब साइकोलॉजी है कि जब औरत अच्छा भी करने लगे या वो काम कर रही है या अपने आकाश छू रही है, तो उसमें उस स्त्री की उतनी योग्यता नहीं, बल्कि यही माना जाता है कि उसका परिवार बहुत अच्छा होगा तभी वो निकल पाई, उसकी सास बहुत अच्छी होगी, उसका हस्बैंड बहुत अच्छा होगा। सो देयर इज नथिंग गुड अबाउट अस, इट हैज टू बी द अदर वे अराउंड कि पीपल अराउंड हर आर सो गुड। वो एक, हम उस सफलता के पीछे एक कारण ढूंढते हैं, ये कैसे सफल हुई। नहीं, कोई बात तो है, हमारे संग लाइफ अच्छी नहीं थी, इनके संग इनकी देखो सास अच्छी है, इनके पेरेंट्स भी अच्छे थे, इन्हें देखो गुरु अच्छा मिला, इनको देखिए इनके हस्बैंड भी अच्छे मिले। आई हैव रियलाइज्ड सफलता जब मिलने लगती है यस, तो बहुत सारे लोग उस सफलता को पचाते नहीं, और यदि महिला सफल हो रही है तो सबसे पहले उसके पीछे की गलियों में झांकेंगे, किन कारणों से सफल हो रही है, उसमें किस प्रकार से कोई ना कोई कारण ढूंढे। That it makes people so uncomfortable to accept a woman is successful.
I would like to tell the august gathering here and those of our citizens who are watching us at home. No woman in the history of India has ever walked up to a politician to say, I need a toilet. It was never a part of public discourse, or for that matter, even conversations in newsrooms, in summits like this. That from the ramparts of the Red Fort, when Modi became Pradhan Sevak, he said, we all speak about development and empowerment of women, but do most women in our country begin their day with dignity? And that is why in the history of our country, for the first time, we had a head of government imploring to the entire nation and state governments included, if we talk about ensuring dignity of women, can we begin by building a simple toilet? Something which had no political glamour attached to it. Something that never assured a vote bank. Something that was not a part of popular or social discourse, became the clarion call for a country of 1 billion plus. Who knew that one day as a nation we will rejoice the fact that we have built 110 million toilets? But what was the
Prime Minister Modi expressed joy in meeting the family members of Bharat Ratna Karpuri Thakur, hailing him as a champion of the marginalized and a source of inspiration for the nation. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami led the inauguration of 158 development schemes during the Nari Shakti Mahotsav in Haridwar in an effort towards women empowerment and socio-economic development. Mega women's uprising in Sandeshkhali. TMC leaders face allegations of sexual exploitation and land grabbing.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
हर बहन के खाते में 1000 रुपए डालना शुरू किए, कुपोषण खत्म हो गया, फिर लाडली बहना योजना। सामाजिक सशक्तिकरण का उदाहरण है लाडली लक्ष्मी जैसी योजना, या जो मैंने कहा देखिए एक दर्द देखा बहनों की जिंदगी में। जैसे मैंने देखा कि मजदूर बहन, हम लोग राजस्थान में भी देखते हो, कई घंटे काम करती थी और कई बार बेटा बेटी को जन्म देने के 2-2 दिन पहले तक काम करती थी, और बेटा बेटी को जन्म देने के बाद 8 दिन भी आराम नहीं करती थी और फिर खेतों में मजदूरी शुरू कर देती थी। बेटा बेटी को खेत की मेड़ पर रख देती थी या घर छोड़ देती थी। तब मेरे मन में आज कुछ करो तो एक योजना बनाती कि बेटा बेटी के जन्म के पहले 4000 और जन्म के बाद 12000 रुपया उस बहना के खाते में डालेंगे ताकि वो अपने बच्चे को ठीक से दूध भी पिला सके। हमें 50% रिजर्वेशन हमने सबसे पहले मध्य प्रदेश ने दिया। आधी सरपंच बहने होंगी, आधी मेयर बहने होंगी, आधी जिला पंचायत के अध्यक्ष बहने होंगी। और जब हमने ये किया तो बड़ी संख्या में बहनें चुन के आई और सरकार चलाने का काम करने लगी। फिर मेरे मन में एक बात और आई कि संपत्ति अक्सर खरीदी जाती है परिवार के पुरुष के नाम पे, महिला के नाम पे कोई नहीं खरीदता। तो मैंने एक ट्रिक अपनाई कि अगर बहन के नाम से, महिला के नाम से संपत्ति खरीदोगे तो स्टाम्प शुल्क जो लगता है, रजिस्ट्री का पैसा लगता है, वो केवल 1% लगेगा। पुरुष के नाम पे खरीदोगे तो 5% लगेगा। अब रजिस्ट्री का पैसा बचाने के लिए बहन के नाम पर 1000 रुपए डालना शुरू किए तो उनके यहाँ परिवार में कुपोषण खत्म हो गया, पोषण का स्तर सुधर गया। तो मेरे मन में एक बात आई कि हर बहन के खाते में अगर हर महीना पैसा जाएगा तो बहन पैसे का दुरुपयोग नहीं करेगी। अगर पुरुष को दे दो तो दारू पी के भी इधर उधर वेस्ट कर सकता है, लेकिन बहन कभी नहीं करेगी। और इसलिए हमने खाते में पैसा डालना शुरू किया, लाडली बहना योजना बना के 1000 से शुरू किया, अभी 1250 रुपया।
practitioners like you, you're out there, you're putting out the message on nutrition, on yoga. So much emphasis is laid on me time, connecting with yourself, taking a walk in the woods, meditating. Would you, in equal force, put out the message of taking a digital detox every now and then?
Yes. So let's talk about what the mind is. The mind is an instrument. It's an instrument by which you understand your external world. Now this instrument, how it is getting influenced, A, and how it is finding stillness, where you find your happiness, is B. If you are constantly distracted by a WhatsApp message, by a phone, by a Instagram post, by a Facebook, what happens is your mind is constantly bombarding you with negativity. Now, why I say negativity is because the mind does not give you any positive information, and this is not I'm quoting from myself, these are things which I'm quoting from the Vedas. Okay, so first I'll give you a little bit about why I moved into nutrition and Vedas. Is because I trained as a medical doctor. I was working in the ICU in GB Pant Hospital, and two things stunned me. The first thing which stunned me was that we were getting patients at the fag end of their disease. That means they were just coming to die in the hospital. So we as doctors were waiting that please first get so ill, then we even look at you. So the standard thing was kuch nahi hua. Blood test mein nahi aaya, kuch nahi hua. So you're waiting for people to really fall ill and then come. And I said, this is illogical. The second thing was, in GB Pant Hospital, you have a cardiology super specialization unit and you have a neuropsychiatry. Many doctors were addicts because they were taking the drugs themselves. Now it might be different, but they had become addicted. Now, why would a smart super specialist get addicted to a drug? Because to calm the mind. Because the mind is throwing constantly, you are not good, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, this is pathetic, there's a deadline. How will you calm the mind? Now, the reason why we are talking about mental health is thanks to technology. I'm not saying technology is good or bad. Technology is like a knife. You have to know how to use it. You cannot be a slave to technology. You cannot be a slave to your mind. And technology disrupts your mind. Technology, even if you're constantly on the phone, will disrupt your breathing. And if your breathing is disrupted, your complete energy engine is disrupted. So what I'm trying to say is that many people, you send them a message, within seconds they will reply. Why? Why should they reply within seconds? Why? Because they get gratification. Oh, you're so quick. So for that, so the society is telling you quick responses mean you're good. But what is this whole quick response about? It is about the need of somebody to reach out to you at their demand. So you are on demand, you're playing on demand.
Good evening and welcome, friends, to this Monday edition of Biggest Story Tonight. A big day for India's diplomacy, with Prime Minister Modi's personal engagement with the Emir of Qatar. 7 of the 8 naval veterans who were on a death row in Qatar have been sent back. They have come back to India. But then today's focus in Biggest Story Tonight is going to be the mega showdown that's really shaping up between farmers, particularly from Punjab, Haryana and some parts of western Uttar Pradesh, and the center, on issues they believe have been pending for a while. Is it a pressure tactic just ahead of general elections? Is it being done at the behest of some political elements to create a perception that there are problems in rural hinterland? We're going to focus on that with reporters joining us from multiple locations in Delhi and Punjab. Let's begin with the headlines first. Mega women's uprising in Sandeshkhali. TMC leaders face allegations of sexual exploitation and land grabbing. In an exclusive conversation with Arnab Goswami, Editor-in-Chief, Union Minister Smriti Irani takes on Mamata government in escaping attack. Irani hits out at TMC government, says she must step down. Mamata must step down if she can't maintain law and order. Yet another big jolt for the Congress as Ashok Chavan, the former chief minister of the party in Maharashtra, dumps it. Sources say more defections likely soon. "24 hours ahead of the Delhi Chalo protest by farmers, Section 144 imposed in the national capital. As 7 Navy veterans who were undergoing trial in Qatar return home, Prime Minister set to meet the Emir of Qatar on February 15th on his way back from the UAE. All right, welcome back, friends. Security has been intensified along with Delhi's borders, and the reason is kind of mobilization we are seeing of farmers from Punjab and Haryana and some parts of Western Uttar Pradesh, borders of Delhi at Singhu, Tikri, Ghazipur, etc. are seeing massive security barricades and cops on vigil, even as the administration makes sure in Haryana and Punjab that the mobilization of farmers does not create a law and order situation. As many as 1,000 to 1,500 tractors are expected to be used by these farmers, and intelligence reports suggest that anything between 10 to 15,000 farmers could be mobilized and moved towards Delhi as part of their Delhi Chalo plan. Remember, this has been going on for a while. In fact, the center has been in talks with these farmers. 2 rounds or 3 rounds of talks have already happened. One of them at the topmost level with the Union Minister Piyush Goyal actually leading along with 2 other ministers. In fact, as we speak, perhaps another round of talks is going on in Chandigarh, where the team of Union ministers has flown down to engage with the farmers and hope that in the last minute they would understand that protesting in this manner, which can inconvenience a great mass of citizenry in these states and along the affected highways which the farmers intend to take. And so that's the situation, and the government would want to not let farmers create a situation which could be a throwback to the 2020 farm laws protests, when for months together Delhi's access was choked by these protesting farmers at the very same borders, Ghazipur, Singhu, Ambala. There are pictures coming in from various places where law and order arrangements have been tightened to make sure that there is nobody, no antisocial element, no anti-national element taking advantage of the mass movement of farmers. So we'll go to reporters. We are going to be joined in by Amandeep from Chandigarh. We're going to have Piyush Ohri from Tikri border, and we are going to have Harsha Chandwani from Singhu border, I believe. And yes, they are there. So let's begin with Amandeep first. Amandeep, quickly, in a short reply, tell us what's the status of talks that was slated to take place between the farmers and the government, with the union ministers flying down to Chandigarh. Are the talks happening? Any solution in sight? Anything coming out from there?
Well, Abhishek, the talks are still underway, and in fact, this is the second round of meetings between the farmers and union ministers. And in fact, the farmers are very much onto their demand that the law for the MSP withdraw the cases that has been registered in 2020, and justice for Lakhimpur Kheri farmers, their crop loans, debt waivers. These are the demands that have raised by the farmers continuously. And in fact, still they are on their demands. And earlier in the first round of meetings, ministers sought some time to discuss the things with the Union Cabinet and the other ministers to meet their demands. And this is the second round of meetings just a day before of the protest. And in fact, the ministers are putting their all effort to diffuse this protest just because the farmers have given the call throughout the Punjab and the different parts of the country as well. And even they have already reached to the halfway of the Delhi as well. And in fact, by tomorrow, they will start from the Fatehgarh Sahib towards the Delhi on the national highway. On the other side, Abhishek, Haryana has completely geared up to block the farmers while entering from the state of Haryana. All the borders connecting to Punjab, they have completely blocked. 64 paramilitary companies has been deployed on the road. 50 reserve police companies has been deployed. 3 companies of gear with the gears, they have also been deployed. The main striking point is the Shambhu border, which is actually located on the Delhi-Amritsar highway. And in fact, the Shambhu border has been completely walled by the Haryana police with the cemented walls as well as the spikes. And in fact, the 7 layer of security has also put in place. But all eyes are on this meeting, what is going to happen and what would be the outcome, just because so far the talks are still underway. Almost 17 Kisan leaders have participated into the talks, and in fact the ministers are negotiating the talks to diffuse the protest. But the farmers are very much adamant to remain on their demands that either they are going to implement or not. Yes, Abhishek.
Amandeep, if you are getting me, my question is that if the farmers have already moved halfway via Ambala, Karnal, etc. to Delhi, and the kind of mobilization that we have seen over the last few days, then what are these talks about? Why are they talking if they have made it amply clear their intention to move to Delhi and to, create the blocks, roadblocks that could be a throwback to the 2020 farm laws protests? What are they talking about if they have already mobilized these many number of people and tractors, etc., and moved towards Delhi? Who are these people, Amandeep?
Abhishek, the point is that according to the Kisan leaders, they are claiming that they have started from the different parts of the Punjab, and in fact still they are in the jurisdiction of Punjab where they were mobilizing. One is Fatehgarh Sahib, another is Patiala. These locations are exactly nearby Punjab and Haryana borders, and tonight they are spending their night there, and by tomorrow morning, if these round of talks will fail, tomorrow early morning they will start towards the Delhi and try to cross the Haryana border. So the basic formula is to mobilize nearby the Punjab and Haryana borders so that at least they will come in a full force to break the barricades of the Haryana the way they did in 2020 as well. Just because in 2020, 26th November was a day when they have crossed the borders and moved towards the Delhi Singhu and Tikri borders by breaking down all the barricades by tossing off the security layers of the Haryana police. Those same episode they wanted to repeat, and that is the reason they are mobilizing their entire manpower nearby Punjab-Haryana borders. Yes, Abhishek.
All right, Amandeep. It's clear that they have already decided to go ahead with their protests. The talks seem to be sort of fig leaf just to suggest that they were reasonable, but then the talks fail. So let's see what's really happening on the ground, what the administration, not just of Delhi but of Haryana and Punjab, is also doing to prevent any law and order situation emerging from the kind of mobilization that we are seeing. Let's go to Singhu border first, where Harsha Chandwani is reporting from. Harsha, please tell us what kind of foolproof arrangements being made by police to make sure that the farmers don't create a civic unrest and the protests are orderly at the very least if the farmers reach the Delhi border tomorrow.
So Abhishek, right now Singhu border I'm reporting from, and this is the highway and the bypass road where I'm standing right now. And to tell our viewers what exactly is happening right now is that more cemented barricades and iron barricades have been put up here, and more than 1,000 cemented barricades have been put up and placed here at highway, and almost 20 level of barricading has been done. I'll ask my camera person Ujjwal to also show you the crane through which these barricades have been lifted down, and this entire exercise has been going since afternoon, and the entire entire outer north Delhi police officials are already here and they are working. These are the stringent measures and the massive deployment at Singhu border. Also Abhishek, because of this, there's a huge traffic jam and congestion also, because there are 10 level of barricading from Sonipat to Singhu border and the bypass road, and that is the reason this stretch of 5 kilometers, the commuters are completing this stretch in almost 2.5 hours. This entire traffic jam, what we have seen is from past 2 hours, the vehicles are not moving. It is because of, I'll take my cameraman Ujjwal over there, because you can see the entire team of Delhi Police Outer North has gathered here, because on the other side of the road, through cranes, the cemented barricades and the iron barricades are being put up on road. And this entire night, this entire section and this highway will be blocked, and the diversion will be done through village side, and therefore commuters are being continuously asked not to use this very particular highway. And as you can see in visuals, RAF, CRPF, CISF and BSF and also Delhi police officials are deployed here at Singhu border. These are the massive and stringent measures which have been taken and put in place here at Singhu border, because Delhi police officials from 2021 have learned their lesson that this time they are going to pre-plan everything, and therefore they are working round the clock to ensure that the security measures in national capital are ahead, and no farmer could enter through Singhu border in national capital, and therefore nail and thorns payments have also been made on the road. Back to you, Abhishek.
All right, let me also go to Piyush Ohri. He's at the Tikri border. Piyush, the cops have been preparing for this for a while now. If you can tell us, are they confident that they are going to be able to prevent the farmers from creating a civic nuisance even as they exercise their right to protest and their freedom of expression? And if yes, what arrangements have been made so that the Delhiites, people in Delhi, people wanting to come to Delhi, people needing medical attention, traveling in ambulances from those regions of Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh close to Delhi, they are not inconvenienced?
So yes, Abhishek, what I can tell you is that yes, not only the Delhi police but also a large number of CRPF officials are over here at Tikri border, a very important border which connects West Delhi to Badargod, Jhajjar and Rohtak from here beyond. So thereby you see that not only the Delhi police officials but also a large number of paramilitary forces like CRPF are present over here. And just like Singhu border, as what was mentioned by my colleagues Harsha, there are also containers, there are also cemented walls, there are also barricades with fence wires being kept over here. But you raised a very important point, Abhishek, that does these blockades actually cause inconvenience? Yes, it does cause inconvenience. There are ample amount of measures that are being formed to make sure that the farmers do share their grievances and they do have the right to protest. But on the other side, there is also one part of how the shopkeepers, petrol owners, commuters over here are facing inconveniences. Because of the blockade which are being caused over here, you are seeing that how a lot of the shop owners are forced to be there in their home, and there have also been instances earlier in the occasion that how residents over here died because of sudden cardiac arrest. So yes, a reason because of the reason because these blockades, there is also an inconvenience caused to the residents over here, and their inconveniences also needs to be highlighted equally as we share the grievances of the farmers that might protest now starting from tomorrow. Back to the studio.
Okay, thank you so much, Piyush Ohri, and of course before that, Harsha Chandwani and Amandeep from Chandigarh for bringing us up to speed with the kind of situation that's there on the ground, as also the talks that are going on in Chandigarh between the centre and these protesting farmers. Let's listen to some of these reactions and the kind of political face-off that's been happening on the issue over the last few days, but the voices from today, of course.
बातचीत चल रही है। 3 मंत्री केंद्र सरकार के दिल्ली से चलकर चंडीगढ़ आए हैं। पहले दौर की वार्ता हो चुकी है और अब दूसरे दौर की वार्ता भी होने जा रही है। फिर मंत्री आ रहे हैं और मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि बातचीत से बड़े-बड़े मसले हल होते हैं और ये मसला भी हल हो जाएगा।
मीटिंग के बाद ही अगर सरकार कोई
जैसे हमने आशा मैंने बोला भी अगर स्वयं प्रधानमंत्री जी कोशिश करें तो ये देश के किसान मजदूर से जैसे 75 साल होते हमें एमएसपी खरीद की गारंटी का कानून नहीं दिया गया, उसके ऊपर बात कर उसको कोई कैसा करे, कोई नोटिफिकेशन हो, कुछ इस तरह के हो। उसके बाद डॉक्टर स्वामीनाथन कमीशन की जो रिपोर्ट है C2 प्लस 50%, उसके हिसाब से हमें दाम मिले फसलों के।
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
1 crore women have already become Lakpati Didis. Now we are aiming at 3 crore women. The ambition, the partnership between women of this country and their Prime Minister is historic. Speaking of drones and women that fly, while we had the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces take salutations and salutes from women in all roles, ranks and services this Republic Day, I'm also cognizant of the fact that the President of India has very humble origins, that she is the first girl in her village in Odisha who studied beyond Standard 5. That in her life's journey, she became an MLA, a minister, lost a Lok Sabha election, became the first ever female governor of Jharkhand, is the third president ever in our country who has done a sortie in a fighter jet, her recent adventures with the Sukhoi. But imagine, her entire life's journey was about finding political space. Imagine her satisfaction, her pride. When the government of India, under the aegis of the parliament, could present to her the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, 33% reservation for women in this country. Imagine her pride. Imagine her pride as a Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, when yes, she sees veteran and personnel currently in service, received 1 rank, 1 pension, received the best of support and supplies from the Government of India, but also at the helm, she sees women with permanent commission in the armed forces. Imagine her pride. And speaking of pride, there is a lady in the audience I would now point out to. They say our missions are sometimes called mom. That we can go to Mars on the dark side of the moon on a budget which is possibly less expensive than a Tom Cruise movie. But at the helm of it were the women at ISRO. That the lady who, not from the lens of gender, but from the lens of science, looked at the sun, and sitting here bright amongst us, Nigar Shahji, a big round of applause for her. So as the President received salutations, salutes from women in all ranks, roles and services, was the tableau of ISRO with its genuine female scientist taking the Kartavya Path with a sense of pride and gratitude. And these are the stories that make this summit special.
I am very, very happy to announce that Neva Bupa Health Insurance has come on board as Republic TV's studio model. Neva Bupa Health Insurance is the fastest growing company among standalone health insurance players in India. It has also provided health insurance coverage to 1.1 crore people in India and settled over 15 lakh claims, processing one claim every 60 seconds. So we are delighted to be partnering with them.
One is told to make a choice between being a lawyer, being a successful lawyer, and also choosing and being a homemaker. How do you look at that? And I also want to add to what Dr. Anand said. You were in the forefront of the Permanent Commission for Women being given in the army. It's a case we've seen you very closely fight. Even in the army, therefore, there is this sort of tug of war where inclusion is not as spontaneous as it could be.
It has been a long journey and a really tough one, but I must tell you the change is inevitable, and change is very, very, it's very palpable also. So struggle that, women, incredible women before us had, ma'am was the second additional Solicitor General ever as a woman to be on this post, and I'm following her as a fourth one. So, the journey of women ahead of us has been tougher. The journey of young women behind us who are walking the same path is a little bit easier. And I want to tell you with my own example, in the first 5 years of my profession, clients would come to my office and say, "Ye ladki kya kar legi? Is ladki se nahi hoga." And, 4 years back when I became an additional Solicitor General, I had to give up my private clients, and they told me, "Why don't you suggest a woman lawyer? Because we find that women lawyers are more sincere and more dedicated to their work." I think that change was incredible. And today, many of us, so we had to make that choice between either having a family till our generation. If you want to have a career, then you can't expect to have a family. And if you want to have a family, be a family woman. But today, I see a lot of younger women lawyers having family, walking with grace, their counterparts. Their spouses, their partners actually helping out with raising the next generation. So Justice RBG, the famous Ruth Bader Ginsburg, had famously said that the real change will really happen when men become equal stakeholders in raising the next generation. One thing I must say, for men in any field, they just need to be meritorious. For women, you need to be meritorious, and you need to have strong support system at home, because at home is where it really counts. And what the trouble is, most young girls get their wings clipped at home. So if you clip your daughter's wings at home, if you clip her, if you put her dreams into a box and you don't allow her to take a flight, she can't go out in the society and take that flight. She can't be a contributor to the nation. She can't be nation building tomorrow. You've clipped her wings already. If you become the...
मुझे लगता है कि केंद्र सरकार का घमंड बहुत बढ़ गया है, और पहले भी केंद्र का घमंड किसानों ने ही तोड़ा था, इस बार भी किसान ही इनका घमंड तोड़ेंगे।
हरियाणा की भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार किसानों को जो शांतिपूर्वक आंदोलन का ऐलान उन्होंने किया है, उसे रोकने के लिए जिस तरह की दरिंदगी, जिस तरह के सभी लोकतांत्रिक मर्यादाओं का उल्लंघन करते हुए जिस तरह से किलें ठोक रही है सड़कों पर, जिस तरह से दीवार खड़ी की जा रही है सड़कों पर, मुझे लगता है कि ये लोकतंत्र को किसी तरह से कत्ल करने के लिए ये सरकार उतारी हुआ।
These are simple demands that the farmers want to raise. They want to have a conversation or dialogue with their government. Why are they being blocked to enter Delhi? Why are you blocking mobile internet? Why are you suspending internet services all across Haryana and Punjab? Why are you so scared of your own people? Because you are in the wrong, because you have wronged India's farmers. And that's the simple explanation for
किसानों को लूटा जाता है, वहां पर आप MSP नहीं देते। क्यों नहीं देते? कि किसान आपको इलेक्शन के लिए चंदा नहीं दे सकता, इसलिए नहीं देते। इस बात पर गौर करनी पड़ेगी। किसानों को सुनो, अगर देश को आपने सशक्त करना है, विश्व गुरु बनाना है, तो आपको किसान की सुननी होगी।
About 100 years ago, less than 100 years ago, even mirrors were not usual. Many people did not have mirrors in their home. Most people had never seen their own face. This is less than 100 years ago. Can you imagine? that mirrors were it was a very rare thing. Only very, very wealthy people may have a mirror or what you call a looking glass in their homes. So, आप ये सोचिए कि 100 years ago, most people never even looked at their own face. And now look what's happening today. Meaning, how many times do we look at our own face? Every single day. How many times? You know, so it's a huge shift. It's a huge mental shift in the way that we're thinking about ourselves. And this way of thinking is affecting so many parts of our life. And I actually am very concerned about the young people growing up today, because when we grew up, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have access to the internet. I mean, I got my first phone when I went to college, and itna bada sa, I remember it was itna bada sa Nokia phone. So we never grew up with phones, but today's children who are continuously on screens and are always looking at themselves from the time they're less than 1 year old doing FaceTime. They're all doing FaceTime with their family members, and they mostly love it because they're seeing pictures of themselves. It's a very, very new, it's an entirely new neurological connection in our brain. So it's quite a dangerous place, a dangerous territory that we're really in, that we're treading.
That is exactly what I want to touch upon, because needless to say, the selfie culture has induced beauty standards. And beauty and the beauty industry has a whole new face to it as this is kicked in. You have a self-perception, self-image, and sometimes you think that you're falling short of it. You feel inadequate. You think in that sense, we need to very consciously draw a line of what our self-care practice should be and how we can responsibly practice a selfie culture?
I think that's a very important question today. The reason is that on one side you have people who are more conscious, and they are made more conscious because every time you post a picture, the first reaction is, how is she looking? How is he looking? When you meet somebody, and especially at least in India, the first thing, either they will say you have lost weight or you have gained weight. So imagine the amount of pressure a selfie would put, because now you are sharing with thousands and thousands of people who are judging you. So first is the mental pressure which I see amongst society, and it's faced more by women than men, because subconsciously women have been told that looking good is important for your acceptance. And that is a tragedy, because most women as young girls, when they grow up in a wedding, the girl is said she's pretty and the boy is said he's successful. And that's a tragedy, because a lot of women have worked hard in their professions and yet they are measured for how they look. Now, the point number 2 is the quick fix. Now, what happens when you try to quick fix rather than having a sustained practice of loving your body, loving yourself, taking care of yourself is, so what I see is that first is women despise themselves because of their bodies, subconsciously. And that's a tragedy again. Because when you despise yourself, you open the doors for surgeries. You open the doors for all kinds of surgeries, which could be from physical correction, cosmetic correction, which you don't need.
Guys, come here please. בואי תדריך עם הרקע של ה... This goes now 20 meters deep.
Okay.
This goes inside, this goes inside. Want to see the next stop is in the don't go anywhere alone.
Viewers, it's time for some Fast 50. I'm Shivangi Shukla. Let's get started. Allegations have been levied on the TMC leaders of sexual exploitation and land grabbing in Sandeshkhali, West Bengal. Sandeshkhali is making headlines once again, at this time over alleged systematic sexual exploitation against women by TMC goons. Violent protests erupted in Sandeshkhali, where prohibitory orders under Section 144 of the CRPC were clamped after local women took out processions demanding the arrest of missing Trinamool leader Shah Jahan and his aides. National Commission for Women confirmed that they have taken suo motu cognizance in the Sandeshkhali violence case and that an investigation team of the NCW will be visiting Sandeshkhali tomorrow. On Sandeshkhali violence, West Bengal CM Mamata Banerjee in Habra district said that arrests have been made in the incident. State Women Commission have submitted a report in the matter. Bengal governor met with Sandeshkhali locals to take stock of law and order situation. This comes after Governor C.V. Anand cut short his visit to Kerala, the area, and also speak with villagers who protested against Trinamool leaders. 6 BJP MLAs, including leader of opposition Suvinder Thakari, has been suspended by West Bengal Assembly Speaker Biman Bandyopadhyay today for disrupting the proceedings of the Assembly on the Sandeshkhali issue. The suspended BJP MLA Suvinder Thakari slammed Bengal CM Mamata Banerjee and called Mamata an autocrat. He said that the BJP will support the women and that he's not afraid of even being hanged to death. If that is what it is, the punishment for supporting women. Suspended BJP MLA took pot shots at Bengal CM, saying that the BJP will reveal what she's trying to hide. He said that it will be able to tell everybody that CM of Bengal knows about the harassment of women in exchange of money. New Minister Smriti Irani takes on Mamata government, says voices of women are being muffled in Bengal.
These are the women of Sandeshkhali who are crying out for help, for protection. Mamata Bandyopadhyay is known for the genocide of Hindus. That she will now allow her men to pick out Hindu young married women.
National Commission for Scheduled Caste Chair Arun Haldar has accused Shah Jahan of criminal activities, stating that his trial will commence under the NIA Act. Nitish government will win floor test with the support of 129 NDA MLAs, 0 in opposition. Meanwhile, the opposition walked out from the State Assembly. Passing the Bihar floor test, JDU MLA Leshri Singh said that the opposition did not have the numbers. She said that although the opposition leaders had given a slogan, "Khela hoga," but they could not play and failed. On Nitish's win in the floor test, Congress MLA Dr. Shakil Ahmed Khan said that despite winning, the heads of the BJP-JDU alliance are hanging in shame. He said that when politics is done with deceit and deception and without ideology, this is what happens. Another big withdrawal for Congress as Ashok Chavan dumps party, so they say he's now likely to join BJP next. When asked if he will be joining BJP, former Maharashtra CM Ashok Chavan has said that he will tell the media in 48 hours after resigning from the Congress. Former Maharashtra CM Ashok Chavan said that he did not have a word with a single MLA of Congress party. A Congress leader has said that Ashok Chavan's resignation is shocking. He said that the reason for Chavan's resignation is the sudden and it's not clear. He said that the voters will teach BJP a lesson for breaking the Congress party. Ahead of Delhi Chalo march by the agitated farmers, the Delhi Traffic Police has issued an advisory for the commuters and Section 144 has been levied. Farmers from Punjab, Haryana and UP have called for the march on Feb 13 to demand a law guaranteeing MSP for their produce. General Secretary of Punjab Kisan Mazdoor Sangharsh Committee, Sarwan Singh, has said that if the Prime Minister tries, he can win the hearts of the farmers. This comes ahead of the farmers' protest set to take place tomorrow. On farmers' protest, Haryana Home Minister Nivij said that 3 ministers of the central government have come to Chandigarh and talks of the first round have been done and that he's hopeful that this issue will be resolved soon. Uttarakhand CM Pushkar Singh Dhami made a big announcement regarding Halwani violence and said police station will open in Halwani where violence took place. 7 Navy veterans who are undergoing trial in Qatar returned home. Prime Minister Modi is set to meet the Emir of Qatar on Feb 14th. Prime Minister Modi distributed more than 1 lakh appointment letters to the newly inducted recruits via video conferencing. The Prime Minister also laid the foundation stone of Phase 1 of the integrated complex Karma Yogi Bhavan in the national capital. PM Modi has highlighted the fast pace with which the centre is recruiting youth to government jobs as compared to previous administrations where bureaucratic delays were common due to bribery. PM has praised the transparency in recruitment for allotting jobs.
युवाओं को भारत सरकार में नौकरी देने का अभियान लगातार तेज गति से चल रहा है। पहले की सरकारों में नौकरी के लिए विज्ञापन जारी होने से लेकर नियुक्ति पत्र देने तक बहुत लंबा समय लग जाता था।
Rouse Avenue Court has granted interim bail to Manish Sisodia for 3 days between 13 and 15 Feb. Sisodia, who was accused in the Delhi liquor scam case, sought interim bail to attend his niece's wedding in Lucknow. Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal, accompanied by Punjab CM Bhagwant Mann and their families, visited Ram Temple in Ayodhya. Speaking of the experience, Kejriwal stated that they felt an indescribable calm by offering prayers to Ram Lalla. Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi has refused to read out the customary address on the opening day of the Legislative Assembly session. Today, he said that the customary address contained numerous passages which he disagreed on factual and moral grounds. Uttarakhand CM Pushkar Singh Dhami led the inauguration of 150 development schemes during the Nari Shakti Mahotsav in Haridwar in an effort towards women empowerment and socio-economic development. PM Modi and Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Mauritius Prime Minister have participated in launch of UPI services in Sri Lanka and Mauritius via video conferencing. Mauritius Prime Minister has now announced the launch of co-branded RuPay card and emphasizing enhanced bilateral ties and digital transformations efforts during a milestone occasion. After the launch of UPI in Sri Lanka and Mauritius, the first UPI transaction was conducted by Indian citizens in Sri Lanka. Indian Foreign Minister has now visited Damascus, including talks with Syrian President Assad and foreign counterpart. Assad has criticized Israeli aggression, cautioning against regional conflict escalation in Gaza. In central Gaza, Palestinians are trying to navigate ongoing electricity cuts by relying on solar panels. Residents are offering charging services for cell phones and power banks to cope with the situation. Israeli military has rescued 2 hostages from captivity in the Gaza Strip. The operation took place in Rafah, where with both men found in good medical condition. They are among the 136 hostages believed to be held by Hamas. Additional Israeli airstrikes have bombarded Rafah near the Kuwait hospital amidst ongoing conflict. The casualties were rushed for treatment as violence escalates in the region, where 1.4 million Palestinians are seeking refuge from the Israel-Hamas war. Israeli airstrikes in Rafah have caused multiple casualties, overwhelming Kuwait hospital. Amid the rising tension in the Israel-Hamas conflict, the US has warned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu against any operation without a plan to protect civilians. European Union High Representative Joseph Borrell has warned Israel over disproportionate actions against Gaza Strip. As military action is ongoing, he asked Israel to protect civilian life and work towards a ceasefire. Israeli forces have successfully rescued 2 hostages from Gaza, sparking celebrations in Israel, but raising concerns about escalation. Families of the hostages have urged prioritizing negotiations for more releases amidst the ongoing conflict. Hospital officials in Rafah have claimed that at least 50 people were killed in airstrikes that accompanied an Israeli hostage operation. Residents in the area attacked by strikes had said that there were at least 17 to 18 strikes fired by Israel, followed by clashes that left people running for shelter. After Israeli military conducted raids in Gaza, military spokesperson says that the complex rescue operation took place in Rafah. He also confirmed that 100 hostages still remain in Hamas captivity. Yemen's Houthi rebels backed by Iran claim to have targeted a US flagship in the Red Sea with naval missiles. The attack occurred at the Bab el-Mandeb Strait with no reported injuries as the ship continued its journey. Former Prime Minister Alexander Stubb is projected to win Finland's presidential runoff, securing 51.4% of votes against former Foreign Minister Pekka Haavisto. Pakistan People's Party leaders Bilawal Bhutto Zardari and Asif Ali Zardari met with PML leader Shehbaz Sharif in Lahore to discuss government formation after the recent general elections in Pakistan. Around 75,000 people have gathered in Munich for Sea of Lights for Democracy protests to condemn racism, anti-Semitism and hate speech. People were seen chanting songs to stand up against the rise of the far right in Germany. Indonesia is preparing for the presidential elections as President Joko Widodo final term ends. 3 contenders, including the defense minister and 2 former governors, are eyeing the top post as over 205 million eligible voters are set to participate. A Texas sheriff stated that a shooter was shot down after an attack at the Houston megachurch of celebrity pastors Joel Osteen. 2 duty officers were killed during the shooting. A judge is considering further punishment for the former President Donald Trump following allegations of inflating his wealth on financial statements, resulting in millions of dollars in penalties. Experts say that a ban may be imposed on his business in his home state. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has been hospitalized due to an emergency, but will, however, retain office duties. Pentagon has notified that the Deputy Defense Secretary has been preparing to assume further responsibilities if needed. Heavy rains have flooded the streets of Dubai, trapping cars as drainage systems struggle. The Emirati National Center for Meteorology has issued weather warnings till Tuesday noon, while Dubai police has sent out safety alerts urging caution. Marathon world record holder Kelvin Kiptum and his coach have died in a car crash in western Kenya. The incident occurred in Arua in southern Kenya, which has been used as a prominent training area for long-distance runners. Argentine President Javier Milei arrived at the Vatican for a private meeting with Pope Francis. Milei is also set to meet with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and the President Sergio Mattarella.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
सारी बात की बात यही है कि मुझे बस ये लगता है कि मैं एक बहुत मामूली सी औरत हूँ. And the beauty to enjoy being a woman, I think that surpasses all pleasures and all joys, of pride of being a woman. And rest, I think everything has followed. Being who I am, being the person I am. आपने पूरी यात्रा पूछी. बहुत पुरानी यात्रा है, कई वर्षों की. आज चलते हुए ये लगता है जैसे कई जन्म जीत लिए हो, कई जन्म जी लिए हो. और कई चित्र, उसमें कई छवियां याद आती हैं. सबसे पहले माता पिता का एक ऐसी परवरिश याद आती है जहाँ कभी भी कोई फ़र्क नहीं था लड़का लड़की में। और मैं हमेशा एक बात किस्सा याद करती हूँ और बताती हूँ कि जब मेरा जन्म हुआ कन्नौज में, तो पिताजी जब वहाँ पर पहुँचे, वो कानपुर में पोस्टेड थे, तो और मैं पैदा हो गई तो उन्हें पता चला, तब वो वहाँ से वहाँ पहुँचे। तो आते ही उन्होंने अपनी सास से यानी मेरी नानी से कहा कि अम्मा तुमने बंदूकें छुड़वाई कि नहीं। तो वो अब अपने दामाद से क्या कहें सास, तो उन्होंने उस समय बड़े ही संकोच में कहा कि देखो कैसे बौरान है, बिटिया पे बिटिया भाई, और कह रहे कि बंदूकें छुड़वाओ। कौन सी बहुत खुशी की बात है, बिटिया पे बिटिया भाई, कोई बंदूकें छुड़ाने वाली बात है। यानी कि उस समय का जो परिवेश था कि मेरे से बड़ी बहन थी, तो बेटी पे बेटी हुई है तो कौन सा सेलिब्रेशन करने का, तो कोई इसमें ज़रूरत नहीं कि बंदूकें छुड़वाई जाए। और मेरे पिताजी ने कहा कि मैं डॉक्टर हूँ और ज़िला अस्पताल यानी सरकारी सेवा में हूँ, और मेरा अपना अनुभव रहा है कि अम्मा मरीज भर्ती रहता है तो पिता की सेवा बगल में बैठी बेटी ही करती है, भले बच्चे के इम्तहान छोड़ करके आई हो, लड़का मनी ऑर्डर भेजता है लेकिन सेवा बगल में बैठी बेटी ही करती है। तो ऐसी सोच के साथ मेरा जन्म, मेरी परवरिश हुई। तो ये कह सकते हैं कि जो बायस है जेंडर वाला, वो मैंने कभी महसूस नहीं किया, और पढ़ने में भी नहीं। और शायद जो आपने एक बात अभी कही सुचरिता, कि बहुत कम लोग जानते हैं आपके व्यक्तित्व के और पहलू, तो उसका शायद एक कारण है कि मैं ऑलराउंडर सी थी, पढ़ाई में भी थी, गाने में भी थी, और दोनों में एक तरह की एक शार्पनेस थी, ब्रिलियंस थी। जब तक समझती कि करूं क्या, गाते गाते शादी भी हो गई। और उसके बाद चूँकि ये सफ़र मैंने तय सोच लिया था मन में कि